If we do not get an aerial Aqualix level Oregon or an aerial Okami level Oregon, I'm going to be very angry.
Noted. I'm going to write that one down.
Thank you.
For later.
I'm going to hold the teams accountable.
Yes.
I will be DMing Atheno and Whitlock furiously.
Yeah, they're gonna have to give us a good performance because we're here on Oregon. We've seen this map a lot here in Challenger League so far, and I'm hoping this one is interesting. As CJ was saying, I'm hoping we see some crazy plays playing to win. I want to see people jumping out of a window as well. I think that's a great way to make Oregon pretty interesting. Maybe it'll be pretty dumb, but it'll be pretty interesting. Now, speaking of, we've got some interesting stuff going on here in the bans. We've got Mute taken off the board. That is not something I think I would have ever guessed to see here.
It's got to be Wamai, right? Flores is banned. Especially because he was buffed. Valkyrie. So Mira and Wamai are both up. That's pretty cool. So is Cade, actually, now that I think about it. So we're going to see Maverick probably every single round. We're probably going to see plenty of nades and stuff like that. Now, Jonah, the one thing I'm very worried about for this game is while Outlast have never played it, and that's fine. That's all well and good. I'm sure they know how to play Oregon just fine. LiViD have lost this map twice. Not once, but twice. 8-6 against IF, 7-5 against Panic. So sure, they've been close. They've never been able to eke out that win. So they're, of course, they're going to be looking to change that here, especially because Outlast have a sub. Now, the first site will be Laundry Room. It's going to be down in the basement, and you can already see LiViD are leaning towards the shields. They have 4 shields, as well as the Cade. They've got the Jaeger at their disposal, too. Xeno has the Ella. I'm wondering if that's going to be Ella Shotgun. That would certainly be interesting. Meanwhile, on Outlast, something curious. No Maverick. Single hard breach. Unless the Buck has hard breach charges. Because remember, Jonah, they just got buffed. Everyone with hard breach charges now has 2. So you can kind of, fill in a pseudo quasi secondary hard breach kind of position with like a Capitao or a Buck. But in taking that, you lose the Buck's flashes. So you're not going to have a lot of burn. No, okay, so he does have flashes. So Outlast are currently running against a Cade, a no Mav single hard breach.
Well, in terms of the flashes, you normally would say, oh, glad we brought those. We're going to have to deal with a lot of burn, a lot of shields. They're going to have to deal with a lot of shields if you look at the defense from LiViD, but where's the Wamai, Harrison? Where's the Mira? Where are these operators we spoke so much about? Well, they've been thrown to the wayside in favor of an Ella, which is a perplexing a decision as any. Now, of course, I get you want another deployable shield in play, and that's important, but why not make the 3 deployable shields you already have just way stronger? That's exactly what a Wamai can allow you to do. You have 6 Wamai magnets to deny any sort of projectiles that are coming the shield's way. Maybe we'll see how that shakes up a bit later. I don't know if we'll see Carnage B actually move around. Okay, he will. It looked like he was just sitting still for a while there. But LiViD are going to have quite a bit of work to do on this defense because they are coming up against a lot of burn, a lot of utility, and they don't have as much in terms of denial as we normally would have expected.
I think we just saw the Jaeger relocate an ADS over towards Pillar as well, now that they know this is exactly where the attack is coming from. There is a lot of presence here in Bunk. Surprisingly, it's not Carnage B the Smoke holding an elbow. It's actually Indy on the Goyo, and his shield is going to fall by the wayside very early. The reinforcement is also on the opposite side of what is traditional. Indy is not going for the reinforcement despite losing the shield just yet, which is also curious. LiViD are looking to fully challenge this attack head on. And I do like that decision. We talk about how LiViD, a lot of the times they'll play very passive. They'll play not to lose. But here they're taking the aggressive stance, and I like that. Indy, still an elbow, will cap Panic. Down goes the Ash. That's an opening kill for the defense, and Indy will stay here. Armed with the Vector close range, gets cut down by Jewel, and Jewel's looking for more. He will die to Mikey. Karn gets a second, and now it's a 4v2 in LiVid's favor.
Yeah, Nomad and Atheno are left to pull this one out for Outlast. They've got a good bit of time to work with, and they each have a drone in pocket, so it's certainly not out of the question, but the aggressive positions that LiViD have now retaken are going to make this one very, very hard for Outlast to get done successfully. Nomad at the moment is still pushed back all the way inside of construction, outside of bunker itself, and well, your other player sitting upstairs is not going to be much help in that endeavor. Quickly, Nomad will fall to the hand of Karn, and Whitlock will strike again, giving LiViD a very successful round.
And they met that bunker push. They fought fire with fire. I love that from LiViD. Again, I said it during the round. I'm going to say it again. Too many times have we seen LiViD clam up, play passive, play not to lose. But it seems like, against Outlast, especially, it probably helps that Outlast has a sub as well, so they are not, quote unquote, at full strength. LiViD are taking the aggressive game, and it's nice to see because with people like Indy, people like Mikey, Whitlock, people that I have watched tear up, the amateur scene for years now, finally coming to T2, they're being let loose. And again, I would like to remind everyone, the analyst has talked about the stakes for this game. If LiViD win, they're out of relegation. They send Fernie's down. It's actually a lot easier than that. Because Fernie's Tacos lost to LiViD 7-3. Fernie's Tacos is at 5 points. LiViD is at 4. Fernie's Tacos do not have any more games. So technically, LiViD don't even need to win. They just need to take 6 rounds.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Something we'll probably talk a good bit more about when we get towards the end of this round or end of this map and see exactly how things are shaking up. But Harrison, you mentioned the aggressive stance that LiViD were taking in that last round, and I actually want to double down on that. When you highlighted that it was interesting that Indy wasn't going for that reinforcement on the bunker rotate, I checked the reinforcement counter in the top left, that handy, relatively new addition, and I actually noticed that there were no reinforcements left. So LiViD had actually used that reinforcement elsewhere, committing to that rotate and committing to that position. So it wasn't just that they were like, oh, we're forced to play aggressive here, let's play aggressive. They committed to that before the round even began. They were ready to fight fire with fire. They were ready to play aggressive, and I really love to see that mentality. It shows, and based on that reinforcement counter, we could also learn that that was their plan the entire time. They knew they wanted to contest that position very aggressively, knowing all the risks that that would entail. Also, the benefits, of course, that came going their way in a big way. So a great start for LiViD in that first round, likely looking to continue that aggressive energy here in round number 2. But in this case, they do have a reinforcement to save for later in case they do end up playing a bit more passive and trying to save things off for a bit more of a late push.
Oh, and they just used the reinforcement. I don't really know where. But, last round you mentioned, hey, where's the Mira? Where's the Wamai? Where's all that stuff you left up? Well, here they are, in full force. Again, leading the utility. Not only do they have the Goyo, but they are bringing the triple threat. Wamai, Aruni, and Jaeger, making it absolute hell for Outlast to try and get their projectiles into the building and into a useful spot. Of course, you've got Karn rounding things out with those Mira windows, something that LiViD, ever since last stage, have definitely leaned upon, but Nomad on the Iana will get the first kill onto said Mira with a nade from below. Well placed from him, but luckily, the Mira windows are still up. Indy will get caught mid-rotate. That is simply just unfortunate timing for the Goyo. It's now a 2-man advantage for Outlast. Make it 3 as Nomad finds his third. Xeno getting cut down looking for the flank. Mikey shuts down the Iana, but Panic finds Whitlock, and now it's the Wamai. In a 1v4, he will have to ace if he wants to win this round. Down goes the Thermite. He drops Case, but now they know where he is, and he's dealing damage to Spudsack, but he's got to pick out the revolver, and he's not going to be able to do anything with it. Outlast, after that bottom-up push, got a couple of picks, just mount the aggressive stance into sight and roll over LiViD.
Yeah, that's an attacking format we've seen work quite a bit. Just full send it downstairs, take control of kitchen and dining, work a lot of vertical play, get a couple of nades, and then big window, push white stairs, and just get that crossfire going onto dorms, force those defenders either back in kids or force them to take gunfights, and they did that perfectly. They forced LiViD out of their comfort zone, taking a couple of unexpected gunfights, and Outlast winning those gunfights in every single instance. Now, it was interesting that we didn't see Outlast pressure the other side of the map at all, that southeast side or that northeast side attic or master, but honestly, it was understandable they made that adjustment and went fully for that west side attack because, like you said, Harrison, the Mira was in play. And a Mira can be extremely powerful at denying any sort of attic push. You slap it on that kid's rotate or by that kid's rotate, and you can prevent anybody from pushing pit. You can have a Miro from attic facing over towards trophy. You can have so many different things that assist in your master hold and your attic hold that it's very understandable the attack that Outlast ended up going with, and LiViD just didn't have a counter for that in time.
Yeah, and that's the big weakness of the Mira on that site and on maps. You know, we talk about it too on maps like Villa, right? Because the whole floor is destructible, all you have to do to counter that Mira is go below. And there you go. Windows are now pretty useless. We'll see if LiViD fully adjust. They do have... Okay, they do now have 2 people downstairs. They swapped off Wamai onto Malusi, who, after the recent... I wouldn't even really call that a nerf. After the recent change, she has lost her C4 and gained a bulletproof cam. Mikey and Xeno will both be running it, so, you know, while they might not have the Wamai anymore, there's even more bulletproof utility, and Outlast are going to completely switch up the push. No longer are they going to deal with that kitchen hold or any sort of downstairs clear. They are going right for the master wall, and they open it within a minute.
Yeah, the Malusi change you mentioned is interesting because to the casual player base, you probably think, oh, that's such a nerf. You're taking away this explosive piece of utility that I use to kill people. Yes, that's big. But in a competitive setting like this, where so much is dependent on intel and utility, a bulletproof cam, some would even consider that a buff. And it's a reason why we may be seeing Malusi banned even more than she has been in the last few months, because that piece of utility can be so potent in addition to the banshees that she already brings that also need to be burned with some kind of utility or another. But enough about that. We can see about, oh my lord, we can see how Outlast are going to try to take this round and take this attack, but it is off to a troubling start with Spud getting absolutely cooked and denied by Indy, who just was in the right place at the right time and took the head of the Zofia effortlessly.
As you could say, Spud got mashed.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was really down to him, like, looking at the shield, peeling back, and then, I don't know why, he just kind of stared at it. I think he was maybe afraid that there was going to be another, you know, ADS or something, but that hesitation is really what did him in. Mikey, playing over towards Big Window, will be caught by Atheno, so there's the equalizer, but Atheno does take a lot of punishment. Nomad will nade the window, but Karn has since moved, though it will catch the Goyo shield. So Karn no longer has this indestructible protection, and Indy doesn't have his shield anymore as well. All the shields have now been dealt with, and look at the positioning from LiViD. There's 2 people stuck in kids. Xeno is still below, and Whitlock is alone right now in attic, not prepared to deal with that Gone 6 charge through the window. Nomad catches the back of the Jaeger, but Karn gets a headshot. Indy another. It's a 3 versus 2, and in comes the Thermite, but no, the Roni recoil! Xeno's not able to get the kill because of it. Jewel walks right into frag Karn, and Atheno's got the big window watch. He has to win this fight. The pre-fire will not land on a Xeno just yet, and that allows Indy through. The Thermite will be distracted, but no, coming off the plant. Still finishing him off with the pistol, but Jewel can't connect the second. Xeno saves the round, and LiViD retain their 1-point lead.
Xeno saves the round after almost botching the round with a couple of missed shots from that Roni. Almost a complete disaster, but figuring out a way to recover, and even though they let the bomb go down, a 2v2 kind of retake thing ended up working out just fine. So great job there from LiViD to make sure that they could secure that round despite a couple of hiccups in the middle there, but pulling it out regardless and retaking this lead once again. So we'll head down to laundry and supply room next for LiViD, but in terms of that defense, I mean, it just came down to sitting back and waiting for Outlast to push in and putting themselves in positions where they could succeed. I mean, we saw Indy putting himself in an aggressive position, taking an aggressive angle towards Trophy the moment Spud rounded the corner, getting a crispy shot onto him. As far as the players in attic goes, that's where the story changes up a little, putting themselves maybe a little bit overextended, and Outlast did a really good job playing together and overwhelming some of those individual positions. A back and forth round, nonetheless, it would still be LiViD to pull it out at the end of the day.
Well, this Oregon's been rather entertaining so far.
Yeah.
I've been happy with it. I do, though, have to question Outlast's decision to pile up an attic. I think that's definitely a big factor as to why LiViD were able to fight back so fervently. Because sure, you want to get the kill on Whitlock, you have the Ash rushing in, whatever. But if the Thermite just walked through the breach and planted like foosball, then that's the round. There's no way for the defense to deny that. Like, just keep one person in attic, holding instead of pushing. Keep one at big window to watch for the white rotate. Just plant foosball. But nope, they decided to push all the way in, and it definitely harmed the push. And now LiViD lead 2-1. They were going to go back down to the basement where they were initially very, almost overwhelmingly successful, but they will swap up. They're no longer going to play a full 5-man on site. They have Xeno and Whitlock on the second floor, Mikey all the way upstairs. Even Indy, kind of top freezer. Again, we see LiViD playing this very forward, very aggressive, taking the fight to Outlast.
I mean, there it is. It looks like Outlast is taking the fight to LiViD early on. A complete switcheroo there.
What?
As Nomad just walks in and takes 2 heads just like that. Mikey missing a couple of key shots, maybe getting caught off guard, and now it's Xeno's turn to shine. He'll step up and shut down Panic, who was also caught a little bit unaware. Didn't realize that there would be a 3rd player on this extension, but Spud is in the right place at the right time to clap back as well. There goes Xeno. That's Karn and Indy now, the only 2 LiViD defenders left to fend for themselves on this site, because Outlast worked a perfect roam clear, shutting down a rather weak extension from LiViD that they were hoping could delay as much time as possible. It would be unsuccessful, so now it's going to have to come down to Indy just getting aggressive and getting wild. He's going to do so by pushing up these laundry stairs and actually hunting for some frags. Looks like Spud wasn't aware, at least initially, but Indy made a bit too much noise, and he'll get his life clapped back instead. And wow, Karn is all over the place, running up the tower stairs, looking the wrong way. So that is another kill for Nomad, a triple kill on the round, and a very clean attack from Outlast.
Yeah, the very extended roam that I thought was going to waste a decent bit of time ended up completely falling apart, mainly because there weren't really a lot of trade potential going on, right? Whitlock was alone in meeting. You had Mikey upstairs, who eventually rotated down into kitchen. Xeno, sure, he was in security. He was in close proximity, but he couldn't really he couldn't really trade back. So Whitlock dies. Nomad runs into kitchen, gets another one. I mean, Xeno kills, he kills Panic moving in, but because Mikey had previously hopped off the top floor, now the top floor control plus vert holes that were previously made for the defense are working against them. And Outlast is really put together. I mean, not even like really put together. Nomad just kind of walked in and fried them with no help. That's what that round came down to. So, while LiViD, they've got the spirit, they're still a little confused.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes we've seen now from both teams. It's been a good Oregon so far, like you said in the last round, but it hasn't been maybe the cleanest of Oregons we've seen. But that's not what makes a good game. What we want to see is this scrappy siege. We want to see some good siege and some back and forth siege, and often that happens when you see a couple of mistakes. So LiViD, after making some of those mistakes on defense, will be heading back downstairs to basement once again, going for the double back-to-back site pick, and they'll be hoping to remedy some of those very mistakes. Yet again, we see by that reinforcement counter, they're bringing no more reinforcements, so that rotate into bunker is going to stay open for the remainder of this round, likely meaning that LiViD are going to play a bit more forward aggressive positions on the site itself. They're not going for the roam that didn't work in that last round. Instead, they are returning to that original operator lineup, bringing out the Ella, bringing out the Goyo, 2 operators that we didn't see in the previous round for that extended roam attempt.
I do like LiViD, while still being kind of forward, they're forward in the site, not getting, too far afield. I do like that change. It's what worked for them last time. Nomad is like cracked right now. He's running around, flicking all over the place. But of course, with every good standard basement attack heading towards the supply plant and E-Box, you start with power control. And Atheno, now on the Maverick instead of the Buck, got double hard breacher, so more of those hatches can now be opened. Okay.
Wow. I mean, that is...
All right.
That is good stuff there. Going with the Suri Torch and little mini rotate. Panic comes in, does the job with the sledge. That's what you like to see. So he's actually going to avoid the security hatch. He didn't even bother to do it at all. Just turned away the moment you said that, Crow, and he went right for the meeting hatch instead. So changing it up on the fly here, proving that Outlast either are fluid and adaptable in their attacks, or they simply are a bit too indecisive for their own good. Should be able to get this meeting hatch open any second now. And there it is, giving Nomad a line of sight down into E-Box, looking for anybody sitting down below from LiViD and playing a bit too aggressively, but nobody for LiViD overexposed just yet, because right now they are focused on relocating some of this utility. They have a suspicion on where this attack might be coming from, a bit Pillar and a bit Freezer right now, kind of spread out at the moment, so they're trying to move around the utility to adapt.
Finally, with 30 seconds left, Outlast will make the push down towards Freezer. They're going to try and deal with this shield from Whitlock, but there's too many ADSs to count. Mikey will land one shot onto Panic. Down goes your Sledge, though I believe he's already used his nade, so it's just -1 man. Jewel is the man with the case, and he's the one pushing Freezer. That's an odd place to put your main diffuser carrier. Nomad will get a nade, but Indy refrags. Mikey gets a second. Here comes the Ellis push. She'll die, actually, to Whitlock, shooting her in the back, but Whitlock still makes up for it by getting the kill. I believe Mikey a triple in that round. And Outlast starting with a standard push, completely flipping it, and then sending Case down Freezer. That was weird.
That was weird. That was definitely weird. Because initially you pointed out the Maverick going to security, trying to get that hatch open, which is generally an indicator of a backside take, right? A Freezer and Laundry combination push, because often there's no reason to push Freezer unless you're also pushing Laundry and trying to establish that crossfire. But no, we saw a little bit of both pushes, a half Freezer push and a half Pillar push. A push that is usually done with all 5 or at least 4 attackers. You drop E-Box, you push down tower stairs. Maybe you have somebody coming in bunker as well to focus on that north side. A little bit disjointed, and the indecision that we highlighted from Outlast may have maybe gotten them into a little bit more trouble than they were hoping. Yes, it's good to have 2 prongs of attack, force LiViD to, like we saw, move around utility and bounce back and forth, but without having enough attacking manpower in one spot at any given moment, it allows a team like LiViD to simply just out-frag you, out-trade you, and punish you for being too isolated from your team.
Sorry, while you were talking, I made a monkey noise. Because I noticed, I was just watching the prep, and I just noticed Whitlock is Capcan.
Yeah.
He's Capcan on a meeting room defense, and he's putting his EE1Ds. Oh, he put one in T1. Where's he putting the other ones? So Capcan is an operator. If you figure, hey, you know, they're pushing pretty hard, they're pushing fast, they just kind of walk in and face check, blah, blah, blah. Capcan's a pretty good operator to bring, right? If they pre-drone everything, you know, and they spot the Capcan traps, he's pretty ineffective. But they do have to stop and shoot the Capcan trap, which, you know, depending on what side it's on, could give you an opportunity where an attacker is kind of vulnerable to an angle. It takes, you know, just another second shaved off to shoot it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but if it does catch people, that is half their HP gone. Unfortunately, though, Whitlock's not able to place all of them, so we might not see the best usage of the Capcan we could have seen possible. And as Mikey is holding inside of T3, well, he exposes himself to the angle on the ground through the window, and he will be our first casualty.
Yeah, great shot there from Jewel, all the way outside, looking in a long angle and finding some success on Mikey over there in T3. So shutting down the first big nuisance of this LiViD defense that Outlast had to work their way through, but they've done so with relative ease. Only 60 seconds off the clock by the time they got that big step done off their checklist. With that, Atheno has now taken control of T3 and taken control of Big Tower as a whole, and they're going to use that to build some attic pressure and possibly force some of these defenders out. The question is, are they going to go for this full top floor control, or are they simply going to use this attic pressure as a means to get open this meeting wall and pressure from the back? Because you don't need to take vertical control if you want to get this plant down in attic. You just or meeting rather, you just have to have somebody looking at attic and making sure nobody is opening up that hatch and trying to stop the plant from above.
Speaking of above, you know, Xeno and Indy are not really being contested, and Well, there's only a minute left. Also, this wall is soft. You have people with breaching charges. All right. I digress. I mean, I guess there's, there's nothing else for them to use the Maverick on, so whatever. Karn, though, has the arm of a professional baseball pitcher, so he's just going to keep lobbing those across the room all the way to stage. Atheno overexposes himself to the players in Attic, but look at Nomad. He's looking for the Gone 6 shot right into Split. He sees the smoke for a second and puts it away, looking for the shot, but here's the opening, and oh, it distracts Karn enough to expose himself to the breach. Nomad's now taking the fight against the man by Metal Box. I believe that's Wit. He's going to tag him even more through the wall and finally down the Iana, but the entry has been made in the site. Zeno is going to start the plant as Indy finds Atheno, but here's Zeno on the flank. He'll land one and a second, and the round's shut down. LiViD with round 6, Zeno on the flank, landing all 3, captured by the final kill cam as nobody looks at him.
Now that is a great flank. One of the best we've seen in a while. Just sitting there creepily on the tower stairs, watching all the attackers just running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to figure out exactly what they need to be doing on the site, getting in position, and they had no idea that Zeno was watching them the entire time. Just creeping up the stairs, sitting there, watching them, and eventually stepping up and fragging out. Looked like he almost actually got all 3, but it looked like Whitlock.
Whitlock got it was because Nomad, remember Nomad was downed already?
Oh, true.
Yeah. The reason why I didn't mention it, I thought Zeno was an attacker. I saw, I wasn't looking at the sidebars. He saw everything. Yeah, I was looking at the sidebars, and Zeno was just kind of creeping up, and I was like, oh, he's trying to cover the plant from outside the breach, but no, it was the Malusi the whole time. He could not have timed that better.
No, I mean that is so well executed, because as someone who's probably attacked that site a million times, the attacking teams have 2 main flanks to worry about. They have to worry about Attic and somebody just walking up Attic and flanking from the top of tower stairs, and they also have to worry about somebody coming from the basement, from the bottom of tower stairs. Of course, Zeno doing the latter, but just figuring that Outlast probably aren't focused at both at the same time, given the shenanigans that had already taken place in Attic with, Atheno getting downed in that engagement by Zeno, who was upstairs at the time, taking the time to rotate down Freezer stairs all the way around and then up tower stairs again. Very mobile, and a great surprise that Outlast were simply not expecting.
Well, this is this is an interesting play, actually, from both teams. So on Outlast, we've got a shield on the kids hatch, which is reinforced, supplemented by a mirror window. Attic is open. I think that's a mirror window facing... Yeah, Athena will probably set this mirror window up facing Attic as well. I saw there was a castle barricade in... Oh no, is he going to put it... He's going to put it watching Trophy? Because there's a shield here. Alright, well, never mind. Panic is dead because Mikey is Finka. And Finka... Well, I mean, Mikey is already a confident player. I can't imagine the confidence Finka imbues into him when he's playing her. He's just going to walk up, frag Panic. Here comes the mirror window finally, although it's a little bit posthumous. And there's also a wide gaping hole in Master, and the only thing stopping the attack from accessing it is a single castle barricade. So, while the strat is interesting and complex, I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out. I'll save my comments for after the round.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes before we want to say if it's good or bad, because you never know. Outlast could pull something out here, but being down 1 player already, losing Panic so early in this round, certainly not the best place to begin. And LiViD, getting that castle barricade open, have successfully forced Outlast all the way back into dorms. Like, Jewel, Atheno, and Spud now are all tucked up together towards this west side of the site, and they're gonna have to get moving if they want to stop this attack coming in from this Master side, because it looks like a potential opening. But LiViD, for the meantime, aren't pressuring that too much. They're rotating around, focusing on some vertical pressure from below, and actually maybe thinking about pushing up white stairs and pressuring big window instead. That's given Jewel the opportunity to rotate around towards this Master breach and just whip out this shotgun, hoping to catch somebody off guard in this close corner. The player at the window, I don't think they're aware just yet, but Indy has a perfect idea of what's going on, and I think Jewel was caught in the reload. The Toxic Smoke gets a kill, but so does Karn and Indy, just frying 2 players right back. It's going to be all up to Nomad to fight against 3, and he's not going to be able to stop this plant going down because he has no plant denial utility to work with. Indy on the coverage, Zeno holding this crossfire, and now that Whitlock has this plant secured, it is going to be a very challenging retake for Nomad to do in this post plant. Great shot onto Zeno, catching him sleeping on the top of the white stairs, but now looking for the second player over on that master breach. That's Indy holding the angle from there. Nomad going for the wide swing, but can't quite land the shots in time. Indy will prevail in that engagement, and LiViD, with a great execute, will prevail as well.
Yeah, the execute from them really took advantage of how open Outlast
has set up, and in this case, where you've pushed them back towards, Outlast had been forced pretty much with their backs against a wall, both literally and metaphorically, however you want to put it. They were in a very tough spot, and LiViD did a great job of taking advantage. As a result, Outlast down 3 rounds now, 5-2, as LiViD complete a successful Oregon attack. Outlast will now take their tactical timeout, take a few minutes to regroup, and now that that's been completed, they will head back into this one in an effort to change something up and come up with some kind of a response. They're not going to repeat dorms here. They're going to head downstairs towards basement instead, where they hope this can be the site of the beginnings of some sort of comeback. Oregon defense, they should be able to get some sort of comeback going, at least several rounds under their belt. The question is LiViD going to give them that opening, or are LiViD going to continue to apply this attacking pressure successfully?
5 seconds to go.
I feel like
Locate and defuse
this
the bomb.
defense from Outlast will probably be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more standard, considering what happened in the previous. And they do have, though, something not so standard anymore. Jewel is running a TCSG. Panic is going to get very aggressive early into the round, searching for drones. He'll get away with 1 before falling back. More drones coming in, confirming that he is not in security, so the only way he could have gone is back down freezer stairs. Panic will slink away, which is probably the best decision in this case. I don't think you want to go up against Mikey with the Finka. You can hear the boost go off, and Panic will immediately start falling back. Is Mikey going to take the fight anyway? He's going to think better of it. So, yeah, again, pretty standard defensive lineup from Outlast. It looks like LiViD are going for a main freezer push, though. They've got the hatches open. They don't have a Maverick either, so it's not like they can get E-Box.
Right, they're trying to put a good bit of pressure everywhere right now, but yeah, knowing they can't get E-Box open whatsoever, it should dissuade them from attacking the north side, or at least pressuring those tower stairs. Maybe they want to make Outlast a little uncertain of exactly where this attack is coming from, but the fact that we can see all 5 attackers now bunched up towards freezer, bunched up towards main, I expect to see that push you mentioned, Harrison. This freezer and laundry take inbound. Now, it's still a good ways away, as Karn will now be mapping away at that security hatch, hoping to get that one open in time, while this rest of the pressure actually just comes down the freezer stairs itself. Jewel unable to stop the first player coming down with this TCSG in hand. The second slug shotgun shot will not land either, and Zeno and Mikey will both make it safely down into freezer and will begin dispatching with this utility accordingly. Jewel now turning his attention towards laundry. Now the several players building up from this direction again. TCSG not coming up successfully either. Everyone from Outlast now scrambling around because here comes LiViD, and this execute begins.
Mikey will catch the first head onto Athena. The man tasked with holding freezer. Another boost comes in, assisting Indy in his kill onto Nomad. Karn with another, a down on the Spud, and the round's over. LiViD, off the call of the Finka, push in simultaneously, in tandem, like a tide. And there is nothing that Outlast can do to stop them. What a way to confirm map point. And, well, what a way to confirm Fernie's Tacos in relegation.
Yeah, getting the 1 point they needed, and like you said earlier, Harrison, that is more than enough to propel them to staying in Challenger League. You know, they're not going to be in the relegation spot. That's going to be Fernie's Tacos taking hold of that mantle and sadly grasping that for the rest of this stage. Now, of course, our next match has implications for the playoff picture, but this one really was all about that relegation spot, and LiViD will be more than happy to say that they are no longer up and worried about having that on their minds. But they would still like to get this win. They'd still like to secure this dub and make it look dominant at that. 7-2 would be quite a way to go, especially getting 3 rounds back to back to back on Oregon attack. Very impressive if they could pull that off. Still 1 round to go, however, and Outlast will be looking to make this comeback, and potentially LiViD could start slowing things down here if they knew exactly what they were playing for, and maybe they aren't going to be as uptight about these next few rounds.
I'm sure, though, LiViD probably just want to finish this map clean, finish it quickly. Something else that we can mention, right? 2 players on LiViD that we have had much criticism for, who haven't really been having the best season, are Indy and Mikey. Especially Mikey. Remember when Mikey was on Lenny? That guy would single-handedly eat teams alive. He was one of the most consistent fraggers we had seen in CL. For some reason, ever since joining LiViD, he hasn't really been having the best season, and I wonder if it's because he's not used to not having as much freedom, not used to having a little bit more structure around him. But he and Indy are certainly turning up right now. And hey, that may have been the missing piece of the puzzle. That may be a big reason as to why LiViD have such a commanding lead over Outlast right now. But of course, it's not too early to say whether or not LiViD are going to lock it out here or not. Outlast, a comeback is always in the books, but it's looking like LiViD are trying for another standard push over towards the Master side of things. Mikey trying to nade through to grab the Electro Claw. He will be successful, but Jewel does have another in his pocket to trick, and he will do just that. And the second nade will miss, but no, it wasn't thrown in time. The mistiming from Jewel costing them the breach. I'm surprised the X-Kairos actually caught the Electro Claw in the blast. And what could have been a successful trick, and what could have been a time waster, a massive one at that for LiViD, will no longer be such.
Okay, Nomad will step up in the... no gadget needed for this one. Taking it the manual approach, whipping out the Vector and just frying Karn, who was hoping to finish that Maverick work, but was unable to do so. So there goes your attic push. Gone. The only way you're going to get into attic now is just by jumping through the window, and I don't think LiViD are going to be taking that risk anytime soon. Instead, their entire attack is going to come down to this pressure from Trophy, the pressure from Master that, as you highlighted, Harrison, was able to be opened wide. They have that breach, they have that avenue of attack, but they also have the ability to kill their own teammates. Zeno hoping to respond from that team kill by just going on the hunt for some frags. He'll get one successfully. So will Whitlock, shutting down Jewel and returning this one to an even 3v3. Indy now taking site control, looking for this frag, but backing off and going for this plant instead. Looks like here comes Athena just crouch walking in, no coverage in sight, and Outlast deny the plant. They drop the diffuser. Athena is literally standing on this diffuser, and LiViD have to make a miracle of a comeback to not only kill Athena, but to get the rest of these frags. Zeno looking for it, darting back and forth, trying to stop Athena from wreaking havoc with these toxic smokes, but no bullets connect with the smoke, and nothing is going to be able to stop Spud from taking down Whitlock either. Finally, Zeno will get a kill. But with 20 seconds left, Panic and Spud, both 100 HP. Bam! There it is as Panic finishes it off. A nice little DMR shot placed through the attic door will quickly give Outlast the round and will continue to keep their hopes alive.
That was a very poorly timed TK from LiViD. We saw as soon as the Finka boost was out, Mikey was on the floor. And that could have been, that could have been heals for Zeno. That could have been another body up in that 2v3, could have been a 3v3, could have been added coverage. If Mikey was still in Trophy, Athena would have never been able to just waltz in and kill the planter. Big ups to Athena, by the way. I don't know how he was able to do that, but just the utter confidence to be exuded by him to simply Chad walk through the site. He pretty much single-handedly won that round for them. Outlast. They've got 1 round in their pocket. They need another 3. In addition to that defense, they need a perfect site rotation, and they're going to try and start it off on the tertiary of meeting.
Well, I'm trying to think in that last round, Harrison, where exactly the coverage was for the plant. Obviously, it wasn't there at all, but I'm trying to think of where the players were. Yeah.
So there was one big window, and I think Athena gassed the attic
Trophy door.
doorway, and
Attic.
because Xeno was 1 HP, he couldn't challenge it. Because Xeno was
Alright.
in attic, but Atheno gassed the doorway, so Xeno couldn't get an angle. And Atheno
Okay, so
just crouch
Xeno
walked
did
right
go
by.
through the attic window, tried to go for that rotation.
No,
then...
Xeno sprinted through trophy door into the attic door.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
That was off
okay.
the Finka boost.
Oh, right. Just absolute shenanigans, I guess. So
Yes.
somehow walking through site, that was definitely surprising because I figured with 2 players still alive, the plant going down, somebody's got to be there to cover it. But big window player has no angle to see the middle of the site there because Atheno can use the bunks as coverage and just kind of creep around the corner. And if, like you said, Xeno was indeed smoked off, great play, great heads-up awareness from Atheno, knowing that there was somebody at the big window and that player could not cover any sort of plant denial that he could do. So great work from him, and Outlast are going to take the round as a result and are looking to continue that defensive success by doing it here on Meeting. Now, easier said than done, of course. This is a very challenging site to defend successfully, especially from quick and aggressive attacks, something that LiViD have shown they are more than capable of. Dealing with these castle barricades, dealing with this meeting wall is going to be that first step. So will having Karn establish this top floor control, or at the very least, control of attic, preventing any Outlast defender from rotating back upstairs and shutting down the plant from above.
This is interesting from the defense, though. Nomad is playing behind a shield in Z to watch into stage. He's got quite the long angle as well with the UMP. We'll see Carnage sneak right by the breach. I do like this angle. It's just kind of unfortunate that Nomad is armed with the UMP because if he can probably get out-dueled by someone like Indy or Karn in an even, heads-up gunfight there, which is why he's got that shield to assist him. He will, I believe, get droned out just now, so the attack should be aware of that. We also got Panic inside of attic, and although the wall is open, there's no one actually watching this. Karn looks like he's going to go back up, luckily enough, because if he's not there, someone from the defense could easily just challenge through the hatch and deny the plant, which is now going down from Indy. Xeno gets the lead-off kill before Mikey is refragged, and Indy dies to Panic because Karn isn't watching the above holes. You need somebody on that. Atheno gets shot in the back. We're now back down to a 2v2. Spud and Panic against Wit and Karn, who still have some extra HP. Panic will miss some shots, but he'll finally get it. No, it's actually Whitlock that team kill Karn, and Whitlock tries to move in. He's able to get out with his life, but he's just 1 HP. 1 bullet from the DMR or from the 416 will likely put him down, and he's only got 30 seconds to play with constant hard pings on his position. The defense now knows he's moved all the way back to stage and will turn their attention over towards Meeting. It's going to be damn near impossible for Whitlock to try and get this plant down. He sees Spudsack for a second, will land a nice headshot onto the Jaeger, and now it's a 1 versus 1, but Panic has since moved, trying to wrap around Whitlock and catch the Nomad in the backside, but now he's long gone. Whitlock has no hope. He's going to try and burn the Aruni gate, but that will key Panic into his intentions. He'll hit the air jab. That'll be kind of scary, but Whitlock is too far away to make anything happen, and Outlast will keep themselves alive yet again.
Yeah, a little ring around the rosy at the end there, dancing between...
If you know that they're holding up there, you need somebody on that 24/7, pretty much.
Doesn't help that they team killed, though. That's for sure.
That too. Whitlock also just kind of... I mean, I'm sure Karn would have probably died to that Aruni anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't help that Whitlock just shot him in the head and fried him. But look at this. It's laundry. LiViD won this attack last time quite handily. It was a really, really well coordinated push. But they are dropping the Finka in favor of a blitz.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. The blitz attacks here on basement, that's something we see from Parabellum every now and then. Something that often works well because they know how to utilize that blitz almost to perfection. They know that there are certain cutoffs, there's certain choke points on that basement site that you need to make sure you've dealt with before the blitz can safely enter through a position like bunker, right? You can't walk your blitz from bunker into pillar unless you've dealt with the Harry Potter player and you've dealt with somebody on the E-box hatch. Same thing goes for pushing through the bunker rotate. You don't want to push in and turn your back to E-box if there's somebody in there and contesting you heavily. There are so many positions that you need to make sure are covered properly to use a blitz successfully, and that's something we'll have to see if LiViD can do well, because personally, I don't remember the last time I've seen LiViD actually use a blitz at all. Something they may not feel as comfortable with, but bringing him out here when the stakes are this high here on match point, you know, as we get later into this map, it does suggest some level of confidence and some level of surprise, maybe, that they can use to their advantage.
Yeah, the blitz is definitely going to be interesting. Of course, you know, usually that's used for taking elbow. Um, it's kind of like the workaround to the shield clear, right? You just meet a shield with a shield of your own, and there's usually nothing that person can do when they're you know, sitting there blind. There's no one actually in elbow at the moment. Of course, no one from LiViD is actually setting up outside bunker to begin with, despite it being a minute 10 into the round. I'm sure they're probably just clearing upstairs. Yeah, Karna's going to be opening up E-Box now with the Mav Torch. Obviously, the only way they have around that Cade. I wonder, though, because LiViD have been really, really benefiting from the Finka so far, I wonder how that's going to affect their attack now that they no longer have the boost and they no longer have those nades either.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Well, hoping to get this diffuser back and get this action going. That's what we saw now as Karn will pick that up, and Mikey will begin his trot towards this bunker door. Curious that we've not seen any movement here, though, from LiViD, and we only have, like, what, 60 seconds left to play in this round, and they have a lot to get going. Whitlock will begin an aggressive E-Box drop, and he will get slammed into the ground by Spud. Atheno with a C4 will join him. Now, Indy responds onto Nomad, but Spud is good for 2. Indy is good for 2 as well, as he collects a double kill. That one onto Spud to retaliate from that kill onto his teammate, but LiViD still in a disadvantage, and one of those players being a Blitz, that does not bode well for their hopes. 30 seconds for them to make something happen, but Diffuser dropped an E-Box and Panic sitting directly above them. This one is about to go horribly wrong if they walk past this doorway. Here it comes. Panic will get that kill easily. Jewel with the TCSG will clean up the player down the long hall, and Outlast will claim yet another defensive victory, taking their 3rd in a row.
Outlast were more than ready for the E-Box rush. LiViD's plan was to send the E-Box players in at the same time as the Blitz, and, well, they just kind of all got cut down. The Blitz didn't really do all too much to distract the defense. And the fact that Ella was able to get upstairs was really just the final nail in the coffin. I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about in that round other than LiViD tried for a cheeky rush, and Outlast were prepared and didn't get caught off guard. So well done to Outlast. And they're making this comeback happen. I'd like to remind everyone they were down 6-2. It is now 6-5. We are 1 round away from overtime. And,
Attackers need
well,
to locate and defuse bombs.
if we go to OT, that would mean it was 4-2 defensive halves for both sides. And Jonah, Outlast start defense in OT. Not LiViD.
Uh-huh. Well, that sounds pretty good for Outlast, if the
Indeed.
pattern continues. We've seen LiViD get rolling, and we've seen their attacking success in what it can be. They took 2 rounds in a row right off the bat. They jumped to match point so early, but we haven't seen that same powerful attack since. They've started to struggle. They've started to team kill. 2 out of the 3 losses, yes, they had team kills in them, and the 3rd one was you could say, failed rush attempt, but they didn't budge for 2 minutes. I mean, it's not often you see a quote-unquote rush that doesn't occur until there's about 60 seconds to go in the round. It really was all about just one moment, one big push when you hit that 60-second mark, get your Blitz pushing in from bunker, get that pressure in from E-Box at the same time, but it was, maybe it was poorly concocted or simply poorly executed. Regardless, it was very unsuccessful, and Outlast were able to take that round rather handily, and they'll be looking to take this final round of regulation and propel us to overtime here. To do so, they're going to have to lock down dorms, a site that LiViD have proven they can indeed attack successfully, but they can also have a few struggles on as well.
Outlast, is that mirror is inside attic, facing kids, isn't it? That's odd. You don't see that every day. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what that's gonna do. I'll be real here. I mean, you can't get it from below, I guess. It doesn't really watch much. Karn, I think, just dropped Diffuser maybe for Whitlock to pick up, trying for more nades from below, but there's not a lot of sight info for them to deal with. Jewel also, his shield is protected by the reinforced hatch. I'm not sure if the shrapnel changes will catch that shield or not, but here's a Finka boost. Is that going to make way for a push? Oh, wow. Okay, Mikey's actually able to get that nade onto Athena. Down goes your Mira. Where's the aggression from LiViD? That Finka boost is going to pretty much just be wasted, but Mikey does get a second onto Panic. He's going ham right now, just repelled outside the game's window. In comes Whitlock. He's going to go for the plant under the watchful eye of Mikey. There's even someone at the trophy door. Karn cuts down Jewel. This could all be over right now. It's a post-plant situation. Spud sack 1 HP. Nomad C4. It's going to miss. And now the clock turns against Outlast. And Spud's got to try and make his way through, as well as Nomad. Nomad gets one pick from Attic. Nice headshot onto Whitlock, but it's still a 2 versus 4. Make it a 1v4. Nomad is stuck inside of Attic. He takes a ton of damage, and it's just him alone. Mikey gets his third. LiViD take round 12. No overtime today, and they save themselves from relegation.
Yeah, that's a great way to close it out from LiViD. They had some struggles, but pulling it out at the end of the day, walking away with a 7-5 victory here on Oregon is definitely the way to do it. But I mean, that last round from Outlast, you highlighted the peculiar Mira setup, and I'm gonna be honest, I think that's a big reason why they lost that round. The Mira and having